Yes.
let's just take fitness and nutrition, something I've been doing since I was like 12. I know a lot about it because I've done a lot of it. I've researched a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as somebody comes up and asks me for advice, I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, this is what we need to do. Let's get some more information. We'll talk about, calories in versus calories out, daily expenditure, progressive overload, all that fun stuff. And then if you put me
Mm-hmm.
in front of a group of people, I'm like, what do I have to offer here? How can I talk about
Mm-hmm.
this? How do we switch that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, collectively, once people become a collective, they know more than you, right? Well, one of the things is I think to switch that mindset in particular, you have to think, well, what is it that's preventing me from feeling confident in this idea? And most likely, it's that someone will go, Chase, you don't know what you're talking about. Like you fear that, someone might stand up or that the information might be like too low down for them. Like we're past what you're sharing with us. We want to go into more detail or nuance. And you can get around both those things by just switching your mindset or switching your preparation. So for myself, like I present on public speaking a lot to a variety of audiences. And what I, plus I post online about it all the time. And what got me over my self-consciousness is that I stopped, well, I never really even thought of myself this way, but I don't think of myself as an expert in public speaking. I think of myself as someone who is incredibly curious about public speaking. And in that way, it protects me from having some type of ego about it or having a fixed mindset where someone presents me with information that I haven't considered, that I have to reject that information because it doesn't match my experience. Whereas if I think I'm curious about it, when someone presents me with a new idea, I can think, oh, I haven't thought about that before. Like now when I reflect on what I know and I put that in the mix. So if you just start thinking about yourself as curious, then you, in a way, become impenetrable. The other thing is that you're also an expert. If you are going to be an expert, you're an expert in your own experience. So if you've helped people with fitness or if you helped yourself with fitness, I've helped hundreds of people with public speaking. I've helped myself get over the fear of public speaking. I'm an expert in that experience. So
Mm.
all I'm doing is sharing what I know to be true for me, and people can take that or not. And then if it goes to the other one where you're worried that it's too high level, I think a lot of that is about alignment of audiences. And so just being very clear with who you're attracting to events. Like you never want to bait and switch people into coming to a talk of yours or anything like that. But I've experienced that with corporations because I have a very I'm going to say it's pretty touchy-feely way of getting people over their fear of public speaking. But that appeals to so many people. But if somebody says, Heather, you come in and you come to this corporation and talk to these 30 people, they haven't had any touch points with me. And here I am coming being like, let's reflect on our belief system and how it interferes with our ability. I don't feel confident that they're going to receive that well. And so that often makes me experience some self-doubt. So now when I get booked by a corporation, I do a lot of pre-evaluation qualifying before I accept the opportunity because I don't want any of us to feel uncomfortable.
Hmm. I like what you said about being like a curious learner for public speaking. I get asked all the time or commented by my friends like, I don't know how you come up with questions on the fly, or like, do you pre-script these questions or whatever when I'm doing the podcast? But I realize a different mindset when I'm doing a podcast versus like if I'm speaking, and I should kind of merge those because it's easy to come up with questions because I'm sitting here listening to you talk and I'm curious about what you have to say. Like, this is just a conversation. But I've never thought about bringing that kind of mindset to talking with other people or public speaking, kind of being like, yeah, I have an authority here because I've gone through it, or this is my experience and I'm curious about it. So I'm going to have addressed a lot of these questions or whatnot, or be open to saying, oh, I don't know, or I haven't thought about that when other people bring questions that I may not know.
And let me tell you what you're doing that is less of a mindset and more of a skill that you can transfer over to public speaking, which is when you're doing this podcast, you're not doubting yourself. And so you're not having any thoughts come into your mind of, no, what if I can't think of anything to say? Or what if Heather doesn't think I'm smart? Or Heather doesn't think I'm asking the good questions? Or what if the audience doesn't like the sound of my voice? You're not thinking any of those things. And I hope I'm not truly,
Well, now
you
I
are
am.
great. Like, do not, I'm not, but those would be examples of what someone who is self-conscious would think, right? So what you're doing is you're keeping your working memory free to listen to me. And that allows you to use your working memory to listen, analyze the information, and come up with ideas for what to speak. So it's the same when we're speaking, is that when we have intrusive thoughts, or when we have negative self-talk, or we have self-doubt, and that is in our mind when we're speaking. If we're thinking, oh, this audience doesn't like me, that gets into our working memory. Our working memory can only hold a small amount of information at once. And in order for a thought to come in, the previous thought must leave. So it's when you're having these thoughts about your own ability, they're constantly pushing out what you need to be talking about. So you have created a container for yourself where you trust yourself and your mind is free and clear when you're listening and you're hosting these podcasts. And you can do the same thing for yourself when you're public speaking.